These shifts ended my exes winning the breakup spiral. And honestly, it surprised me how well these actually worked. What is going on, fellow explorer? My name is Dave, and I help people who already logically understand that their relationship is over, but they still find themselves stuck and they're not understanding why this is happening. And maybe the only reason that I can actually talk about this in a way that lands is because I have been there. I have been in this same spot. The relentless checking, the comparing, the feeling like I was behind in some weird, strange race that I somehow agreed to run, and yet like I was the one that created this in the first place. And so I find that many people find themselves in the same space. They are high functioning, they are intelligent, and they are thinking their way through everything. And so now I want to clear up what's actually going on when you find yourself in this my ex is winning the breakup spiral. And so the first thing that I want to share is that the spiral starts because you think that healing and moving on has a scoreboard. And there's always that moment after a breakup where you're meeting up with a friend or you run into a mutual acquaintance and someone inevitably says like, oh, I ran into your ex and they seemed really good. And no matter how well you are doing, right, usually when this happens, we always feel this like stomach drop, this like, right? And that's one of the moments that are so profound in this situation. And what can happen after this, and without even consciously meaning to, we start to turn into sort of this like breakup detective, right? Starting to look and hunt for some clue that they are hurting too. We start to spiral on questions of like, how are they moving on so fast? Did they ever even really love me? And we are trying to match the pace that you imagine that they are moving at. Trying to find out if they are hurting too or not. And I used to catch myself doing this almost automatically. Like I would find my hand like reaching for the phone when I'm bored, and it didn't even feel intentional. It was more like a reflex. And all of a sudden I'd find myself back on their profile, scrolling through things, zooming into pictures, reading the comments, trying to understand what was happening. But the thing that I eventually noticed, and it was slow, it didn't happen all at once, was that I wasn't actually comparing our healing journeys. I was comparing our appearances. And so I was comparing my internal healing journey with my ex-partner's appearance on social media. And these two are very, very, very different things. And appearances oftentimes, pretty much all the time, don't say what's going on the inside. And if anything, we are hiding what's going on in our inner world, especially online, especially when we're going through a hard experience and we want to appear like everything's fine and dandy. So that's the first crack in the spiral, is realizing that this scoreboard that I had made up in my head doesn't actually exist. And so if this is resonating with you, this is the type of work that I absolutely love to do. And if you are feeling like you want to be intentional with your healing, then I invite you to take a look in the description below this video, and you can find some links on how we can work on this deeper together, and so that you can move through this breakup and get over it in the most efficient way possible for you. So the next thing I want to share with you is that you might feel behind because you're trying to outrun your pain. And whenever I hear someone say, I just need to move on faster, I just need to get over them faster, I just want to stop thinking about them faster, it usually means they're trying to skip part of their healing, the part that they are most afraid of, the things that are getting churned up because of this relationship ending that they don't want to look at, that they don't want to feel. And I don't judge it. I've been there too. I've done this too. I still do it. It's a nuanced problem that will spiral around deeper and deeper no matter how much healing that you do. But when you are trying to outrun something, You get pulled into this weird, strange urgency and these different versions of avoidance. And it feels like if you slow down, then this pain that you're trying to outrun is going to swallow everything. And that urgency that you're feeling is exactly what makes you look at your ex and feel like you think that they are ahead. Not because they actually are, but because your mind is running faster than your current reality. And so when you are able to slow down, and in my own story, right, when I was able to actually slow down and stopped trying to outrun everything that the breakup was stirring up inside of me, this felt scary because it felt like the opposite of what I was supposed to do. It felt like the opposite of moving on. It felt like the opposite of letting go. And that's the weird paradox of this, right? Because what you resist persists. And not only does it persist, but it grows bigger and bigger in size until you are forced to pay attention to it. So the solution here is not to run faster, it's to slow down and to stop avoiding what the breakup is stirring up inside of you. And that's when the comparison will stop making sense, right? Because it's hard to be in a race when you're no longer sprinting anymore. And so the third thing I want to share with you is similar, but has just a nuanced tweak to it, right? You will find yourself stopping the mental spiraling the second you stop trying to win. And this is another thing that took me a long time to grasp, longer than I would like to admit, to be honest. But this is another paradox. Again, the moment that I stopped trying to win is the moment that I actually started making noticeable progress in moving forward. And that's because I was starting to focus on me and what was going on with me and what I needed to look at with me instead of focusing on somebody else. Sometimes all I did was just simply notice the room that I was in, or starting to notice what it felt like in my body to sit down and rest. It was nothing special, nothing groundbreaking, but these tiny, tiny pauses did something unexpected, right? They pulled me out of this imaginary race that I was running in my head. It pulled me out of this, oh my gosh, this person that I was in a relationship is ahead and I'm behind. It pulled me out of this narrative that I had created without actually meaning to, but because my body wasn't feeling safe, my mind was looping and creating all kinds of intricate stories. So all I had to do was start to feel where I actually was, where I actually am. And that's enough, at least to start. And the fourth and final thing that I want to share with you on this is that moving on isn't a competition. It's not a trick, it's not some biohack, it's not some clever mindset hack. All it is the slow, gentle realization that you're not winning and you're not losing. There's nothing to be won. There's nothing to lose here. It's not you versus them. There is only you. There's only you and where you are and what is coming up for you because of this breakup and how you want to choose to get over it, how you want to choose to move on. And when we can finally accept this, the spiral, the mental spiral, doesn't stop entirely, but these are the moments where it starts to lose its grip on you. And to me, at the start of this is what felt like progress. And once I got out of this mentality about racing, and it's a competition, I could finally start to notice these little bits of progress. And some days were better than others. Some days the progress felt immense. Sometimes it felt like I was going backwards. But healing is a non-linear journey. And so as long as we can focus on ourselves instead of someone else, this is how we can start to get out of this mindset of, oh my gosh, my ex is healing faster than me. And so there's one more thing that I think you should know before any of this actually starts to stick. You can stop comparing. You can slow down. But if you don't actually understand why your mind keeps looping back to your ex in the first place when you don't want to, then You can step out of this mindset of like healing is not a competition all you want, but you will go back to looping again and again and again. The next time you hear a song that reminds you of them, the next time you see a person that reminds you of them, the next time you walk by a building that reminds you of them, right? You will go right back into looping. So if this video landed for you, then I highly recommend you checking out another one of my videos. I'll put a link down here, and it's called The Secret Behind Men Who Stop Obsessing About Their Ex. So again, I'll put a link there. And again, if anything in this video resonated with you and you find yourself in a place where you are no longer comfortable waiting for time to heal all your wounds, and you want to be intentional about your healing so that you can move through this in the fastest, most efficient way possible, right? Again, this isn't a competition, but there are certain things that you can do that you can be intentional about your healing. You can go to the healing gym and put in your reps, put in your exercises, so that you can move through this in the most efficient way possible, in the best way possible for you. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, again, take a look in the description. There are a few links there where you can find out more information on how we can work on this closer together. I know this is a tender time, but thank you for your presence, and you will get through this, and you will feel better on the other side than you ever thought you could have imagined.